Croquet Club on this January 3rd. Center court, Wimbledon, another unusually warm day. Temperature well over 100 degrees in the sun. Peter Morgan from the All England Club, as is tradition that he's filled since 1947, leads the finalists onto the court. The defending champion, Pete Sampras, and now the audience for the first time, a chance to applaud the #1 seed, best in the world Sampras, against the hard-hitting left-hander from Croatia, Goran Ivanisevic. They'll pause to bow to the royal box. And they're all here, from royalty to the commonest of men, to see who will win the 1994 Wimbledon Championship, the defending champion from the U.S. or the hard-hitting southpaw from the Dalmatian coast. Goran Ivanisevic, the 22-year-old left-hander, in past years strung tighter than his racket, perhaps due to the turmoil in his native Croatia. This fortnight he has played without a waiver. He's now poised to claim his first Grand Slam title. The foundation of his game, a 136-mile-an-hour serve, the fastest recorded at Wimbledon. But his volleying and service returns have been splendid as well. The #4 seed is ready to fire. Defending champion Pete Sampras has been nearly flawless. He's dropped just one set in 6 matches and sacrificed his serve only 3 times. His game, total. Always a solid serve and volleyer. He's become magic off the ground as well. The winner of 3 of the last 4 Grand Slams, he has separated himself from the rest of the tennis elite, seeking back-to-back Wimbledon titles. Pete Sampras, the man to beat. And we welcome you to Wimbledon. We're only 7 rows off famed center court's lawn surface. 20 years ago, an American, Jimmy Connors, won Wimbledon. 10 years ago, it was this fella, John McEnroe. And today, Pete Sampras will try to repeat his title of a year ago. John McEnroe and Bud Collins on his way to the International Hall of Fame next weekend in Newport, Rhode Island. It'll be a game of hard hitting. Both men have logged many aces in the tournament.
Well, obviously the 2 biggest servers in the game. Pete Sampras, I think the big concern here is how his ankle will hold up from that semifinal match against Todd Martin. I saw him in the locker room after the match. Lucky that I can hang out there being an ex-champion. And Pete was a little concerned about it. It was a little stiff. It swelled up on him the night after he played Todd. I think the heat will help him, however, though. It's very warm out today. I think the heat's going to help loosen that up rather quickly. The adrenaline of being in the finals. You'll see a lot of Pete Sampras aces.
And Goran Ivanisevic, Bud?
Well, it's the great balls of fire final, but those balls are going to look like yellow peas with these guys hitting them. I think for Goran Ivanisevic, can he return his backhand? We know he's going to serve huge, but Pete has developed a tremendous hook over there to the backhand of Ivanisevic, and I think he's going to have to do it. And can Ivanisevic remain cool? I talked to his father a few minutes ago. I said, is this your kid, the new serene boy? He said, maybe.
He said himself, I don't know what's going on in my mind. Nobody does. And we will introduce fully our final competitors, Ivanisevic and Sampras, when we return. 2 minutes left in their warm-up. No one at any level enjoys playing left-handers, and Sampras had his difficulty with southpaws a couple of years ago. He's 22, but he has improved. He's won his last 11 matches against a left-handed server, the #1 in the world.
We see here Jared Palmer, the up-and-coming American, gave him a good first-round match. Richie Renneberg, Jared Palmer's doubles partner, also in straight sets in the second round. The Californian Chuck Adams, routine victory there for Pete Sampras. 4th round, Daniel Vacek, a big server from Czechoslovakia. 1 tiebreak there. Absolute tennis lesson on grass courts given by Pete to Michael Chang in the quarterfinals. We saw him struggle a little bit against Todd Martin in the semifinals. Did enough in the 4th set to win that one 6-3 in the 4th.
Lost that 3rd set when he turned his ankle. Goran Ivanisevic, he was in the finals 2 years ago, lost to Andre Agassi in 5 dramatic sets, ranked 5, seeded 4th, but his ranking will move up to the 2nd best player in the world with his fine performance at Wimbledon.
Each man has lost a set. Now, Fernando Meligini, a little Brazilian, actually broke Ivanisevic's serve, and he gets the medal for that. Alexander Mronz, easy, a German. Amos Monsdorf, the greatest player in the history of Israel, but that was straight set.
Ladies and gentlemen,
He didn't break serve. Alexander Volkov broke serve twice and actually won the set. Guy Forget broke serve once. Boris Becker looked at one break point, didn't get it, a set point in the breaker, and he was ace.
Head-to-head, Ivanisevic leads 5-3 and won both meetings on grass, including Wimbledon 2 years ago. Sampras won the last meeting last year. And in talking with his coach, Tim Wilkinson, he said, that's all that matters to me. How'd they do the last time they played? He feels very confident that Sampras has been vindicated, his talent and all the praise and potential. When he won Wimbledon last year, that took so much pressure away. Now he knows he's the world's best, and he enjoys grasping onto that title.
Yeah, that's true. Tim Gullickson is his coach, not Tim Wilkinson, who was a tennis player in the past, who played at Wimbledon many times.
Another left-hander. Tom is left-handed. So
but Dick, you brought up a good point. There's Tim Gullickson there. How he will react against the left-hander. He's won his last 12. Was it 11 or 12 matches against the left-hander? But he wasn't playing Goran Ivanisevic. So it will definitely take him some time to adjust to that Ivanisevic serve.
And his coach, Tim Gullickson, did say as well that he thinks the key to the match is which of these players will return second serves best of all. It's almost conceding that their first serve is so powerful that neither man's going to get many points off successful first serves. Sampras, the champion, serves to open this championship.
I think another important factor is the weather temperature out there. Bud alluded to that earlier talking to Goran's dad. I always found it a lot more difficult to keep my composure in the heat. It'll be very interesting to see how Goran reacts here.
Ooh. Lined that one right off the umpire's chair. Michael Morrissey, get him a batting helmet. That's the kind of returns Goran manufactured against Boris Becker.
He's had a chance at 2-second serve here. Second one hit of the inside-out variety. That's considered a good start to get 1 out of 2 in.
It's wide.
Pete does appear to be laboring on that ankle a little bit right now.
It's his right ankle.
Has it taped and strapped, which is somewhat unusual. Strap on the outside of the sock and a tape job on the inside. Been icing it about 5-6 times a day.
The first ace of the match, and get out your adding machines. We're going to see plenty of those today. That's the 101st of the championships for Sampras. Ivanisevic leads with 140. We're underway. Sampras with an easy hold.
We've selected a family I've never seen before for an absolutely unbiased scientific taste test on which is the ultimate beverage, Pepsi or Coke. Let's see what they chose. Eeny, meeny, miny, mo. We chose Pepsi. We chose Pepsi. 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 Great-looking family.
Ladies and gentlemen, the new king of swing. It don't mean a thing if it ain't got that swing. Don't mean a thing, all you gotta do is swing. It makes no difference if it's sweet or hot. that you got. It don't mean a thing if it ain't got that swing.
We're back at center court. Moments ago, you can see that right ankle and the strapping used by Pete Sampras. He laced the shoes to relieve the tension, perhaps the circulation. Sometimes the binding's too tight and a hampering effect. Set to go. The first swing of the racket by Ivanisevic in the serving game produces another ace. And it's hazardous duty for the lines people. But he did not run freely for that ball, Sampras. A great play, but he lumbered.
He'll move well enough, set up by this nice return of serve. See him take a couple extra long steps to reach that ball, but he takes his time slowing himself down there.
13-15.
And another ace.
Well, he had to pull up short. He almost stepped in the face of Russo Adamo, the great photographer.
Bad sign for Sampras. Ivanisevic hitting that first serve and 3 aces in his opening game.
Good news for him is that tape job in the ankle will loosen up. In a couple more games, heat will help loosen his leg up as well.
The ace on the last point measured at 125 miles an hour. The injury occurred in the third set against Todd Martin as Sampras was racing for a forehand off court, and in trying to stop, the right ankle buckles underneath him, actually the foot caught in fresher grass.
You could see there it was the top of the ankle. Pete pointed out to me, not the side, which I think will help not affect him so much mentally, at least as this match progresses.
It didn't roll over laterally on the ankle, more unusual, the sprain.
Explains why he didn't stop on that passing shot a couple points ago. Gordon needs to take advantage of each and every opportunity here. Try to take advantage of the fact that Pete's not going at 100% right now. Just like he did to Boris Becker in the semifinals, getting off to that good start, taking advantage of Boris's slow starts.
13.
His second ace. Measured at 121 miles an hour. Sampras at love. It's 2-1. Ivanisevic, if he were a race driver, he'd be looking for the checkered flag. He likes speed, and he's out in front. 136 miles an hour, the fastest recorded here at Wimbledon since 1990. Zecca, the big German, 134. Forget, the Frenchman. Becker at 130, and Sampras not too far behind. What was your fastest, John McEnroe?
I think I broke 100 a couple times.
15.
Who was the fastest you ever had to return?
I have to go with Ivanisevic, Becker, the people you're seeing right now. But Goran decided to take a little off that first serve, try to slice it out wide to the Sampras backhand. Beautiful reply there, slicing it right back cross court.
Poetic.
13-15.
I think we heard a linesman gasp there.
I thought at first it was a foot fault call. 4 aces.
14-15.
He's going to serve it even more aces if Sampras continues to struggle with that ankle. Won't be able to react quickly, and you certainly need to be able to react very, very fast to even have a chance at returning this serve.
Game Ivanisevic.
2-all. Well, the points are going to be short, and the hot stove leaguers here, and it's been plenty hot the last couple of days, talking about what would be the best drama that could develop here, and that would be for these men not to be broken, get to tie breaks, and the drama of individual tie breaks might well be part of the story at Wimbledon on this sunny afternoon.
And a 40-38 fifth set.
And that means if it went that far, it'd be about a 2-hour match. First double fault.
That would be amazing to see. 4 tiebreakers. They split the first 4 and 1 break the entire match.
10 minutes to play 4+ games. That's with a couple of towel-offs.
15-all.
3 aces for Sampras. Couple of double faults for Sampras in this game. And we see 15-30 on the board for the first time in the set.
Sure, it's got to be tougher to push off that ankle right now. Affecting his serve at the moment. Well, he's worked on his one-handed backhand and improved that score on Ivanisevic, but there he had time to hit the two-hander. Chose not to. See that fluid motion of Pete Sampras? Hesitated there, wasn't sure what to do with that, whether to half volley that or hit it in the air. Chose, hit it in the air, 30-all.
14-30.
Number 4.
The ace race is on.
That last one at 123 miles an hour. Hot hands. 3-2 on serve. The end of the Wimbledon fortnight. Final day's play, the men's final and the mixed doubles final that will follow. Pete Sampras, Goran Ivanisevic. Heavy serving youngsters, both just 22. Now the lanky 6'4" Ivanisevic will go into whipping action. And a second ball for Sampras.
There's that improved volleying from Goran Ivanisevic, following the second serve into the net. Good technique there on that low forehand volley, just blocks the second one away for a winner. Pete's had some success on that slice backhand return. Goran Goran appeared quite nervous in the locker room before the match. He felt like he blew the match 2 years ago, gave the match to Andre Agassi. I'm sure Andre would say something differently about that.
Andre made a critical volley on a break point in the 5th set. Played serve and volley for one of the rare times, and that was Goran's chance. He was startled to see Andre up there.
30-all.
Other than his serve, appears to be a little tight with the other parts of his game. Doesn't want to get overwhelmed once again by the moment here. Having played Agassi 2 years ago, I believe that will help him in this match. Serve seems to be in good order.
Number 6. First game that he's lost 2 points. Impossible to return. Well, Pete Sampras, the defeats in Wimbledon a couple of years ago, he said changed his character. It's built a champion's fire inside.
The losses that I've received against Ivanisevic here a couple years ago, losing to Edberg in '92, I think it really kind of told me that I really hate to lose, and it really kind of got down in my gut, and you know, really mentally not giving up, and that's something that's changed in the last couple of years. I really do hate to lose. I might not look it, but deep down, you know, I don't like to see these guys beat the top player in the world or give those guys a satisfaction, and you know, that's the difference. Is mentally really wanting it, and I've always wanted it, but now it's kind of been a little bit of an obsession.
An obsession to be number 1 and to win.
Never got that answer out of a guy before. An obsession. Many are obsessed, we know that, but I've never heard a player state that.
5 for Sampras, 6 aces for Ivanisevic. This crowd quietly back in their respective seats, unlike the audience of yesterday.
Oh.
6 aside.
Players averaging a couple aces a game here. Pete Sampras now capable of hitting aces on the second serve.
He said that's the stroke that really made him a better player. That heater on the second, says Pete Heat.
You were still hearing the first sound when you got the second one.
Sometimes you stick your racket out and good things happen. Total reaction shot there by Goran. You practice years, though, seriously, to be able to do that. That is not total luck.
Now there's the backhand return.
What his coach Bob Brett told me they worked on the most. Their return to serve, preparing for Wimbledon. Especially that off the backhand side. Ivanisevic cuts it off nice and early, rips it up the line for a winner.
2 in a row. 40-30. And with 3 terrific passes, our first deuce.
Sir Goran here slicing that return back. Kept his composure there on the pass, stayed down nicely. Suddenly has a deuce, his first deuce. Saw in that previous passing shot, his body stayed so down and came up beautifully together. That one he seemed to pull up just a little bit too early off that return. Sampras able to put that volley away. Not much bounce out there so far on the grass.
Well, Sampras, a tiny scare. He holds 4-3.
Tennis Tips with Tracy Austin. Brought to you by Visa. It's everywhere you want to be.
Now we're going to talk about the return of serve. My doubles partner, Dick Enberg, has a problem that a lot of you have. When they return the serve, their backswing is just a scooch too big. To avoid that, what you want to do, you want to think like Jimmy Connors. On the toes, ready to attack the ball. Pivots, turns the shoulders, short, compact swing. You don't have time for a big backswing. Leans in, steps into the ball, gets the power off the pace of the server.
Goran Ivanisevic always serving second in this opening set, and with no breaks from behind. New balls. That's what we need. Something that'll go faster.
Yeah, more pace. Both players winning about 85 or 90% of their first serve points. Pete Sampras seeing a nice forehand return there.
Double fault is the first for Ivanisevic.
See what happens when you win that first point of the game, especially off a first serve. Suddenly a little chink in the armor here of Goran Ivanisevic. Love 30.
And well off on that serve.
Intelligent play by Goran Ivanisevic there, disguising this backhand drop shot, knowing Sampras is not moving at 100%. Also knowing that grass courts are balls staying down very low today.
And Pete Sampras with the first breaks of the set. A couple to take the lead. And a chance to serve it out.
He certainly improved his volleying recently, but that was a bad mistake there to give Pete Sampras 2 break points.
One gone. Number 7.
Put a little extra mustard on that serve.
Make that 8 aces now for Ivanisevic.
Chance at a second serve here. Pete moving inside the baseline. Where you cannot guide a Goran Ivanisevic serve. That's not going to be successful. And Pete knows it here. Try to sort of guide that backhand cross court. No chance. This racket strung way too tight for that. Probably strung at 75, 80 pounds. A lot tighter than most players.
What'd you string yours at?
Probably about 25, 30 pounds less.
And Borg, he was way up there, right?
Borg was probably the tightest racket that I know of. Probably about 90, 95 pounds. Got a little too cute there. Interesting there. Only 10 rackets of Bjorn Borg strung, 10 would break. His old coach Leonard Bergelin would hear the pings in the middle of the night.
Just exploding strings. They were that taut.
Certainly Goran Ivanisevic's most careless game so far in this match.
5 first serves missed.
Pete Sampras didn't have the angle on the passing shot he would have liked there. Still just missing.
Point from 4-all. Series of very long first serves by Ivanisevic.
Excellent movement here by Pete Sampras. Goran gave that shot away a little bit too early. Pete saw he was going to try to volley that backhand cross court and started on the move quickly. Goran seems to have put a little something extra on his serve since he got down love 30. Good play here to take a little bit of time. He certainly plays quickly.
Ace number 9, 4-all. John McEnroe, take a look at the serving technique of these two men.
There's two different theories on serving. One would be the John Newcomb classic serving volley style a la Pete Sampras. The other one would be the Roscoe Tanner approach. Not as high a ball toss, but the same result. Helped John Newcomb win 3 Wimbledon titles here. Roscoe Tanner got to the finals, lost that great 5-set match to Bjorn Borg back in 1979.
Double fault. That was our first breakfast at Wimbledon, the first time that these Wimbledon championships were televised live back to the United States, and we're pleased you've joined us this morning around the country. 6 full hours of coverage live.
Also appeared on that service comparison that Ivanisevic is a little bit closer to the net after he jumps into the toss of that ball. Might surprise some people to know that Pete Sampras grew up playing predominantly from the back of the court. Was not a serve volley player.
Two-handed backhand until he was 14 when his coach, Pete Fisher, said, "You must change." And he said, "Pete was a disciplinarian out there, so I changed. I didn't like it at first. I was getting killed."
Ivanisevic not happy with that call. Michael Morrissey in the chair.
Goran not impressed by the umpire's explanation that chalk came up on that serve. It's like he cups this backhand return, flicks his wrist at the last second, and pulls that ball cross court for a winner.
When men hit the ball this hard, John, how much guessing is involved, especially on the first serve? Do you just have to commit to something?
Hopefully as little as possible.
Sampras holds. Get more on that later. It's 5-4. Back at Wimbledon, the father of Goran Ivanisevic from Split in Croatia.
Mother's not here. Father said, I said, is she here? No, a little too nervous to watch, he said.
And he's watched his son move through this first set on serve with the defending champion Pete Sampras, 4-5.
Careless miss off the backhand side there.
Before the start of play, the Croatian flag in evidence. And as soon as the first ball was struck, that was tucked away.
Well, he's missed 9 first serves in the last 2 games.
Beautiful.
Goran Ivanisevic is not totally natural at net yet. He committed himself a little bit too early there. Pete Sampras picked up on it nicely.
Sampras suddenly just 2 points from the set.
Goran may have made a mistaken judgment there. That ball appeared to be going wide. Decides to hit it anyway. Sampras with a nice backhand volley to give him 3 set points. When things get tight, Goran Ivanisevic has a tendency to rush, and he's certainly rushing right now.
3 set points. 2 set points. 9 aces. Make that 10. Moving through double figures, and with each one taking a set point off Sampras's racket, or around his racket.
Certainly Pete Sampras didn't expect him to go for so much off that second serve, especially the forehand side.
So Goran Ivanisevic had 2 break points against the serve 2 games ago, and 3 set points here, and 5 denials.
Kept his composure there nicely. See Sampras now 0 out of 5 in break chances. That was a tough shot he had to hit off the return. And just like that, what was it, about 30 seconds ago, he was down love 40. 12 aces already.
Pretty impressive stuff by Goran Ivanisevic. He didn't wilt at love 40. Sampras looking for just that one shot that would give him a quick first set. Instead, it's 5-all.
Also got the crowd really into the match for the first time here, saving 3 set points.
Thank you.
Both players utilizing that slice back and return quite nicely. Sampras struggling a little bit with his movement still. Normally would have picked that ball up, I believe.
Sampras with 13 consecutive Wimbledon match wins. Now love 30 against his serve.
How quickly things change. Well left there by Pete Sampras. Comes from years and years of playing tennis.
Not an easy overhead. Sampras, when he raised that chin, looked right into the sun.
Tough shot here, as you pointed out, Dick, looking right into that sun.
Five all, 30 all. Trouble with his first serve in this game. Ivanisevic has his first break point.
There's that improved backhand return. Took a little bit of a bad hop just as he was about to hit it. Was able to recover and flick that ball down the line. That whole motion was about 1 or 2 feet from the time he hit it. Virtually stopping his racket as he hit it. Before I got my sentence out, it was back to deuce.
They both have huge erasers.
Sampras.
8 aces.
It's a strange match to watch so far. It feels like neither player has had any real chance, yet there's been break points.
Absolutely even. 5-all deuce.
And even 3 set points Pete Sampras had the last game.
He's missed 5 first serves in this game.
He moved sideways to that return instead of moving forward. Paid the price there. Try to move sideways and forward.
That's okay for Ivanisevic, but it's not good for Sampras.
And he misses another.
Both would love to be around 60, 65%, however. Both players' chances increase greatly when they have a second serve. That time you saw Goran Ivanisevic move forward and got the desired result.
Longest serving game for Sampras in this set. That one sounded in. 9 aces. 125 miles an hour up the middle.
Broke a string.
We talked about his rackets being tightly strung. You could hear it ping as it broke. It was very close off that return. It might have been going long. He decided to hit it anyway. String tension probably drops 20 or 30 pounds as soon as that string breaks. Very difficult to control then.
Another thing I don't like about these new rackets. In the old days, you break a string, you put in a string. Costs you about 50 cents. Now you break a string, you got to buy a new racket. Is there anything good about these rackets? Good for the hackers.
Good for the weekend player. Feels like they're hitting the ball a lot harder. Their arm hurts for 4 days, but they recover by the next weekend. Looked to be a little long on that second serve. Got the call. So Ivanisevic looking at that line as well.
So you'd be in favor of going back to the wooden rackets, John?
Absolutely.
For the men pros.
Only at Wimbledon, maybe. Try something novel.
We'll have a complete look at men's tennis later in our Breakfast at Wimbledon coverage. Sampras surviving a break point. We're cruising toward a tiebreak. Last year, Goran Ivanisevic admitted he was ill-behaved, his own worst enemy, but he's changed.
I mean, last year I came here and I was very nervous about this Wimbledon. I was very nervous, throwing the racket all tight before the matches. And I say, I mean, you cannot win like that even one round, so you have to change. So this year I changed. I'm very calm. I'm enjoying to play, looking forward for each match, and it's working, that tactic. So I hope it's going to work to the end.
Sampras pinpointing that backhand.
He has bet his father and his manager, Jan Tiriak, that he will not throw his racket during the tournament. And so far, he's winning that bet.
15-8. Well, he doesn't want to turn into a monk out there. Should point out things have gone exceptionally well for him in this tournament.
Brother John, well said.
You see Jan Tiriak, his manager.
13-15.
Got to play a clay quarter in the first round, unlike Bailey from England previous year. Hasn't faced much adversity, so it hasn't been too difficult for him. I believe the heat will make it more difficult for him to keep his cool in this particular match, especially when things get really tight, like they appear to be about to right now, headed into this tiebreaker.
May not get there.
Well, it did go fast 2 years ago in that fifth set against Agassi. Looked as if that might go 10-8, 12-10, and then all of a sudden, a couple of mistakes by Ivanisevic, and it was over.
2 double faults in match game.
And an ace to punctuate his serving prowess in this opening set. 15 aces, and we're not through the first set yet. The tiebreak.
So at this rate, if it goes 5 sets, he'll serve about 75 aces.
Tie breaks Sampras in his career, and Ivanisevic both successful at Wimbledon. 2-0 for Sampras, and Ivanisevic has had a lot of experience. 6 tie breaks, 6 sets won.
Sampras starts off with what Bud calls the Martin serve, taking a little something off that right-handed serve, slicing it nicely out wide.
To Martin's corner.
After Todd Martin, who fell to Sampras in 4 sets earlier.
Sampras kicking the ground there, knowing he had an opportunity, or at least a little bit of an opportunity on that Ivanisevic second serve. Every shot counts here. Go.
16. Sampras thought it was a let.
Well, Wendy Fortescue Smith says no. And she's been training for a long time, finger exercises and so on, for this job.
So it's like passing your driver's test, Bud?
It's tougher. Net tree is a science.
Certain way that those Fortescues use their ear as well.
Yeah, you have to be able to hear.
Just lightly against the post.
There, Ivanisevic not taking advantage of a second serve opportunity.
The frightening thing about these tie breaks, especially the way these two men are serving the ball, is that you're almost afraid to say it, is probably a mistake that's going to win this set. Off the top of the tape and inside the line.
Or perhaps a little bit of luck. As Pete Sampras receives right here on that backhand volley.
And there's the mini break. Sampras will walk to the other end with a 4-2 lead.
Ivanisevic has been a little bit shakier around the net than we've seen in previous matches. Obviously due in large part to Pete Sampras. We see Delana Mulcahy, Pete's girlfriend with the white hat, and Tim Gullickson sitting next to her as coach. Another second serve here for Pete Sampras.
He's missed 3 first serves in the breaker.
Ivanisevic loses both points.
5-2.
And now it's Sampras with 2 serves, if successful, has the set.
You might as well forget it now. Ivanisevic lost 2 serves in a row. It's history.
Now, John, you saved 4 set points in a breaker against Guy Forget a couple of years ago.
But in case you didn't notice, there's no Forget out there now.
Magnificent volleys by the ex-champion.
Factor there we haven't really talked much about. Pete Sampras more solid at the net than Goran Ivanisevic, showing it here. Hits that first volley off his shoe tops. Knifes that backhand cross court. Ivanisevic getting a bad bounce, trying to hit that forehand pass.
So 4 more set points. Unable to convert on Ivanisevic's serve 3 earlier. That'll do it. 7 points to 2. The defending champion has a 1-set lead. Welcome back to the All England Club. Back behind the Royal Box, comedian actor Steve Martin, and Johnny Carson just behind him. They bought 1 program. It's Martin's turn in this set. Carson had it the opening set.
And here's a wild and crazy server, this Ivanisevic. How many's that?
17. We'll see how he handles the fact that he's down a set. He's been fragile before.
30.
The Pepsi statistics, the update after the first set, and Sampras, despite serving under 50%, earns the set.
That's the big thing. I think Goran Ivanisevic was not able to take advantage of that low percentage. Pete Sampras didn't do enough on the second serve. A couple careless volleying mistakes in the tiebreaker. Here once again sits that volley up. Sampras can do virtually anything he wants.
Sampras, who is an excellent golfer, just had that one on the tee. In fact, his coach Tim Gullickson said, raised an eyebrow, said he's got John Daly driving power. He said, I'm not kidding, he can drive the ball over 300 yards. He needs a compass to find it, he said. Touch of subtlety at the end of the first game, second set. 1969, the year, 25 years ago. Grand Slam, Rod Laver.
Leg number 3. He had won the Australian. He had won the French. Faces John Newcomb on match point. The Rocket with his back to us. And Newcomb's back to the wall. He would go on to win the U.S. Open for his 2nd Grand Slam. Now this man, who would seem like, a troglodyte caveman way back from ages past to everyone of his age but Pete Sampras. He idolized Laver. He had a historical sense thanks to his coach, Dr. Pete Fisher. and he modeled himself after Laver and Ken Rosewall, who played here in the senior event.
Right on the baseline was the volley by Sampras. And Bud, quite a throw. Wouldn't you have loved to have had a camera earlier this fortnight out at Orangi Park near the All England grounds? During a practice, Laver and Rosewall were out there for the seniors, and they hit with Sampras.
Oh, that's terrific. I wish I'd been there. Oh!
The linesman called it good. The umpire said out.
It's an overrule.
Definitely. You put your life on it? Did you put your life on that? More or less, huh? You're not 100% sure? I saw a gap like this. You saw a gap from here. Let's be consistent, all right?
That play was at our end. It looked to be out.
I thought it was out.
Well argued, though, by Pete Sampras. Certainly made his point there. Very tough call to overrule from that angle. And I'm sure Pete felt that Gorin had a little bit of something to do with that call.
Here it comes.
That's right off our window of our broadcast booth. Fouled away. And Laver complained to Gullickson after he hit with Sampras, saying, hey, he didn't have to show me up. He didn't have to hit that well. 30-15, and then the Rocket said, but come to think of it, that's really what I wanted to see, that he is that good.
Well, Rod Laver is my idol, Pete Sampras' is idol, and millions of other tennis players growing up trying to emulate his game and his class on the court.
Again, very deep on the volley, and a point from 1-all.
Excellent backhand volley there. Just inside the baseline.
Not many rallies. We may see more when we're out at La Costa, 6th and 7th of August for the women's championship. The Toshiba and Steffi Graf will reappear there. Conchita Martinez, the Wimbledon champion, will play.
15. And NBC will have the coverage. 18 aces.
Graf plays in Mahwah, New Jersey, the week of 18th, 24th July.
13. Well, we've certainly seen more rallies, but this tennis is at like a completely different level. The pace of the ball is just phenomenal.
And it's inhuman. It's not until they offer a second ball, and those are tough enough, that the receiver seems to have any chance. Double fault, 2 aces and a double fault, 30-15. His second.
Just shows you don't need much backswing on that return. Once again, blocking that ball right out in front of him. 30-all. 40-30. Just hitting the top of the tape on that block return. Wants to keep making Ivanisevic play those volleys.
Approaching an hour into this championship match, Sampras up a set, 1-2 in the second. 1 hour of this men's final. Pete Sampras winning the opening set, 7 points to 2 in the tiebreak. Serves 1-2. The total time of the match, 1 hour, the time the ball has actually been in play, 5 minutes and 10 seconds. If you like your action quick, you've come to the right place. Breakfast at Wimbledon.
You don't need an attention span, do you?
No, both men play very quickly, and their points the same. Let's go even further with the quick points. There have been 112 points and none over 4 strokes. If you take the serve out of it, we haven't had any over 4-stroke rallies.
Both players are playing the best tennis of their lives, which makes it awfully difficult to break the Sampras or Ivanisevic serve, especially on these grass courts.
But you do hunger for just a rally now and then because they're both so capable of extending a point.
Join us next year at the French Open.
I'm glad I was here for the warm-up. Those are the best rallies of the day.
Ivanisevic might have fooled Pete here. It looked like he wasn't even going to try for this point. Pete sort of just casually hit that volley and paid the price there. I don't think Gordon expected to have another chance in this point.
Couple good returns by Ivanisevic to 30 all.
You certainly don't see that very often. A couple careless volleys by Pete Sampras. Another thing that's made him the best player in the world. Cut down on those easy errors.
Is it harder to concentrate in a match like this than in a clay court battle in Paris, John?
I think it's actually easier. You know what you're going to do. You're serving and volleying on first and second serves. There's more of a question on the clay courts at the French Open.
Big return gives Ivanisevic a chance for the lead in the second set.
Suddenly 2 careless volleys by Pete. Ivanisevic with that improved two-handed backhand return. Suddenly with the break point. Once again trying to hit that pass with the one-handed backhand. Certainly improved that shot, but didn't see evidence of it there.
Ivanisevic 2 years ago said he ate at the same restaurant, the same meal every night all the way to the finals. Lamb chops and vanilla ice cream with chocolate and some fish soup, not necessarily in that order. And he said he felt so foolish by the end that he's tried to move around the village and the town of Wimbledon this year as Sampras moves him to 2-all here in the second set. Let's see where these two men want to serve, or at least are serving spots here in the 2 courts. There's Ivanisevic, due side.
Well, once again going mainly to Pete Sampras' backhand like he did against Boris Becker, and very little into the body. Feels he can just overpower his opponent when the first serve's going right.
At court the same, going to the Sampras backhand.
I thought you were going to say that Goran Ivanisevic ate the same food once again, but the night before the finals maybe would change up.
He's trying to change everything. He's averaging 118 miles an hour on all of his first serves. It's in.
Well, we talked about the necessity to take advantage of second serves. Pete Sampras doing it there.
In case you're wondering, the fastest serve today is 129. Can't even conceive how a man can get a racket on a ball like that. Nolan Ryan throw a baseball up to 100 miles an hour. Just wide.
If you ask a baseball player if he was guessing where Nolan Ryan was pitching, he'd probably say no, although deep down a part of him would be.
Didn't dare guess.
If you guess they might stick one in your back, right?
20 aces for Ivanisevic, a point from 3-2.
At least one in every game.
He could have his high for the championship the way he's going. 21. It's 3-2 on serve in the second. '22-year-old Goran Ivanisevic in his second Grand Slam final lost to Andre Agassi on this court 2 seasons ago. Agassi in the far court. And it was a matter of a couple double faults and that error at match point, and Agassi would celebrate the championship Wimbledon, writing his name into the history of this oldest tennis event. And he continues to be the most popular player currently in England.
Most popular athlete, they voted him.
And Ivanisevic continues to have nightmares over that missed backhand volley. He must have seen that about 1,000,000 times. Hopefully not for his sake.
Goran has taken up some of the slack. The schoolgirls wait for him outside the main entrance.
What he's trying to do when he's had the opportunity is to put a little bit more pace off that backhand return, especially when he has time to hit the two-hander. Exactly what happened on that previous point. Too much power there for Pete Sampras. A lot more trouble with that one-handed slice backhand, though. This time Pete Sampras returning the favor. Too much power there for Goran.
Point from 3-all. And the points seem to be getting even shorter. Oh, second ball ace. 12 now for Sampras. It's 3-all. Sampras, here's how he's serving.
Well, he's doing more or less the same thing.
Going to the forehand of Ivanisevic in the deuce court.
Not going into the body quite so much, believing he can just overpower Goran. Bad miss on the volley there, choosing to go mainly up the middle on his serve, where the net is the lowest. 15.
Second serve points. That was the critical statistic, at least in the Sampras camp. And Sampras indeed is ahead and has the first set. Boy, that Ivanisevic and Sampras, they're putting some dents in that backdrop. That was almost a repeat of how he sprained that right foot. Kind of caught in the grass and didn't buckle under quite the same. Let's see it again.
He stopped. Started to slide again. I think he remembered that he had sprained it that way before. Give Goran credit for an excellent backhand volley a la Tony Roach, who I always felt had the best backhand volley ever, the Australian, in that previous point.
Now,
nice little drop shot there.
Ivanisevic, will he go a game without an ace? No.
So much for that drama. A distinguished royal box. Warren Christopher, the U.S. Secretary of State, enjoying the action today.
There's the undersecretary, isn't it?
Jack Nicholson, who has been here throughout this second week of the championships, enjoying the action from the All England Club. I could do this, says Jack.
I played with Jack on the tennis court about 10 years ago. He almost his head almost exploded. He was into it so much. Certainly gave the effort.
3-4, second set.
It's a lesson to be learned. Don't play tennis in altitude. Played at Aspen, about 8,000 feet. Tough to breathe.
You notice your voice carries farther up there? I did. I mean, you can, when you yell, you could hear it coming back.
I never yell, so I don't know. I wouldn't know.
I get personal experience. 13 aces. A breaker's dozen for Sampras, who has 113 now. Started very strong. In fact, there was a game in which he struck the ball only 4 times and his opponent didn't touch it, for the quickest game I've ever seen, and we'll share that with you later. We have our top 10 points from the Wimbledon Championships again for you, so get your VCRs ready. We'll have that for you after the final.
Didn't need to use anything from this, did you?
You have the feeling there's going to be that one major point coming. Another quick service game. It's 4-all, and again, it does appear that a tie break may decide the second set, as it did the first.
Goran had 37 aces in that final 2 years ago. 206 for the tournament, but he still couldn't win the title.
Looking for his first title this year is Ivanisevic.
Coming a little inconsistent off that backhand volley we see here this year. Not a great record, 38-14. Obviously a lot better on grass.
Sampras has won 7 titles this year, racking up 55 wins, only 5 losses.
Whoop.
And a double fault to love 30. 3 double faults for Ivanisevic.
It's a lot of losses for the #2 ranked player in the world after this event. 14 already.
There's a critical spot for the big left-hander. He's down a set. 4-all and love 30.
Doesn't want to give any more free points away. Double faulting at love 15. Puts in a nice heavy second serve there. It gets in nice and close to the net. Another thing that he's worked on the last couple years. Bob Brett, his coach, felt he volleyed too far back. Trying to make sure he gets inside that service line before he volleys.
So a couple of double faults in this game. He only had 2 prior to it, 2 in this one, and Sampras presented with his first break point of the set.
Not known for playing extremely well under pressure. Goran Ivanisevic was seeing a little bit of signs of it here.
Just on the line. No argument from Sampras.
Certainly surprised Pete didn't take a swing at that. Trying to will this volley out by Goran Ivanisevic, clearly bouncing just inside the line. Standing so close, you'd think he'd make an attempt to play it. Chose not to.
And then the ace wipes away the other break point.
He'll remember that point if he loses his set.
It's like having Dikembe Mutombo in there. You can make any mistake you want, but he'll erase it for you. A big serve.
I thought you were going to say Patrick Ewing of the Knicks.
Well, Ewing would fit the role as well. But Mutombo led the world. So Ivanisevic out of a scary 9th game. Welcome back to Kenburg with John McEnroe. 3 times the Wimbledon singles, 5 doubles titles, and Bud Collins.
No titles.
Sampras 7 points to 2 in the opening set tiebreaker. And the profile now has moved up to 51%. And when he gets that first ball in, Ivanisevic has won only 14% of the points. And he's held 10 out of 10. Serves now 4-5.
Want to congratulate Bud once again, being nominated to the Hall of Fame next week in Newport.
Thank you, John.
Hope to see you there sometime.
And Hana Manlikova is going in there with me, too. We must not neglect her. Won that brilliant U.S. Open final in 1985 over Martina Navratilova. Beat Chris Evert and Martina back-to-back.
When are the induction ceremonies? Saturday next?
Saturday during the Miller Hall of Fame Championships. It'll be semifinals day for the men. Greg Rusetsky and Brian Shelton are the big men there. Tournament starts tomorrow.
Yeah, you're seeing big service here. That Rusetsky's a big guy that can put some speed on the ball. Well, a rare error at the net by Sampras.
All Pete had to do was put that volley in the court, and the point was his. Took his eye off the ball at the last second.
Good returns now for Goran. He's only 3 points from a set. Could change this match measurably. Only 3 points, but with the other guy serving, that only is kind of a lame word.
Seems a long way away on a certain level. He had 3 set points in the first set, unable to capitalize in that particular game.
Nice touch. Went behind Ivanisevic.
We should also congratulate Brian Shelton once again on his tremendous run here at Wimbledon, reaching the last 16. Losing a heartbreaker to Christian Bergstrom in 10-8 in the 5th set.
As a qualifier.
Certainly improved his ranking.
The Rambling Wrecker.
And while we're throwing out bouquets, how about Lori McNeil? She made the championship on the ladies' side, and she'll be in the mixed doubles finals that'll follow this match. Oh, beautifully stroked up the line. 30-all.
Goran Ivanisevic disguising that backhand pass nicely. Staying down low, not committing himself too early.
Now, Lori's in the final with a player you don't hear much about, T.J. Middleton. But that's how you started your major winning career, John, in mixed doubles, the French, 1977 with Mary Carrillo.
For Sampras, his ace count now up to 14. They'll be playing Todd Woodbridge.
Helena Sukova.
Tall 6'2" Sukova, partnering Woodbridge, is about 5'10". Another ace for Sampras. It's 5-all.
We see that strap around Pete Sampras' right ankle. Likes to stick that foot up before he serves.
Both servers use that technique.
I'm going to start practicing that when I get back home, see if it works for me. Good play here by Goran Ivanisevic. Made the adjustment there. Saw how low that ball was. Easy put away. Not a good volley there, however.
15.
He waited nicely until he saw Pete Sampras react. Hit the ball to the open court. We see here a nice percentage, 61%. Not as high as normal. At first serve points at 77%.
But not winning even half of a second serves.
Sampras is upset by that call. Ivanisevic says, I've got another ace, Parker.
23. And it's tough on the lines, people. The sun brightly off the turf. It's worn, and with the speed that they hit it.
Mike Morris, he's the umpire.
Did you ever think there's maybe beyond the machine? Ever thought about that? Oh, you know, we can also relax about it. Oh, yeah, you want to discuss it over lunch or something, huh? Yeah. Let's just discuss it over dinner or something, you know? Just can't change it. The machine makes the feel like can't change it. Can't change it.
That's about as fiery as you're going to see, Pete. He thought it was beyond the sound barrier, the Cyclops.
It was beyond the sound barrier, that's for sure.
127 miles an hour. In tennis terms, that's breaking the barrier.
Well, Ivanisevic, 12 straight games. He's had at least one ace.
What's the all-time Pro Tour record, Bud?
Well, it's interesting. You don't know that Gary Mueller served 54 last year against Peter Lundgren in the Wimbledon qualifier. Now, some people would say, well, you can't count the qualifier. I don't know. You know, tennis, still, there are lots of differences of opinion.
Sampras will serve for a tiebreaker when we come back to Wimbledon. Pete Sampras trying to protect himself from the sun's rays. Temperature well over 100 degrees on court. A little hotter after a call that he thought a serve that was well long.
It's very hot out there, Dick. Tempers are going to be shorter. A lot tougher to keep your composure, even for Pete Sampras, who felt like he got a bad call on that serve. It did appear to be long when I viewed that serve.
So it's 5-6. 4 points from a tie break. Sampras prevailed 7 points to 2 in the first set. Tiebreaker. Deep into the second set. Still have not had a rally of 4 hits or more.
I think the other thing that's making Pete slightly irritated is that pain in his ankle. I think that's made him struggle here ever so slightly in this match.
Now, he wants a 3-setter.
Ivanisevic trying to do way too much with that return. Case of trying to take the racket back too far, too big a backswing. Nowhere close.
And with that ace for Sampras, his 16th. To the tension and the drama of the tiebreak. And for Goran Ivanisevic, this is his time if he's going to entertain serious hopes of a Wimbledon title, his first Grand Slam. He'll afford to fall down 2 sets.
Awfully tough to come back from that deficit against Pete Sampras.
Ivanisevic to serve 1 point first.
Along with possessing one of the biggest serves in the game, he's got a very fine overhead. Takes his time there. Moves back nicely. 1-0 for Goran.
Not a bad lob at all.
Good play by Pete. Make Goran hit that winner.
It's good.
Playing high bounce. Into the front row there. A fan from 1-0. Embarrassed Minnesota making a one-handed catch.
Is that near Charlevoix, Michigan?
It's a few hundred miles. Uncle Toivo up there be able to give you the exact distance. And another into the crowd.
2-1. Sampras. Big first serve there by Pete Sampras. Sounds redundant, but that had a little extra on it. Goran Ivanisevic blowing that return long.
It was at this point in the first tiebreaker that Ivanisevic lost the point and went on to lose his next service point and the set. Now that pressure is on Sampras. Ooh. He had a pretty good look at that one, didn't he?
Goran missed a big chance. Not too many chances in these type of affairs. Crowd very quiet right now.
6-4 Ivanisevic, including the tiebreaker won by Sampras today.
Anticipating what we hope are a couple screaming backhand return winners by one of the two players. But I want to see forehand return miss hits. 4-3. That's what you're seeing a lot of. Very, very difficult to return these first serves.
All the weight's on this guy as they get deeper into the tiebreaker. Oh, foot fault and into the net. Not a double fault, however.
And the first little break, and it's a mighty big one for Ivanisevic, falling behind 5 points to 3.
And he'll afford to lose this point.
Thank you.
Toss way too low there. Sampras has got to be happy with winning one out of the two there. Able to win these two service points. 2 sets to love. Lead. And only one more set for a second Wimbledon title.
Last man to win back-to-back Wimbledons was Becker, 85 and 86. McEnroe did it in 83, 84.
A good swing at the Sampras second serve. Chose to go right back at him. Surprise miss there by Pete, feeling the pressure as well.
Slip as he was delivering his backhand.
6-5. Sampras.
Does something to his leg there. You see an awkward little spill there.
Went right down on that right knee. The set is to Sampras. He leads 2 sets to love as we pause for this word from your local station. Welcome back to center court, and here's Sampras. He delivers the backhand unreturnable, and with it, 7 points to 5. He celebrates the second set.
Well, Dick, it was returnable. Unfortunately, Goran Ivanisevic choking a little bit once again in the second set tiebreaker. Pete Sampras' mental toughness coming out there.
And Sampras will open the third set. No breaks of service in the first or second sets, coming down to the tiebreaker where Sampras has been the better player.
And after 13 straight games of serving at least one ace per game, Goran failed in that tiebreaker.
15.
Pete with an added advantage here. Serving the first game of the third set. Put even more pressure on Ivanisevic. Having to come from behind. Extremely difficult to come back. Down 2 sets now.
And a test of Ivanisevic's character as well. Has to be discouraged. Sampras will try to close him out.
Goran Ivanisevic breaking a string there on the return. Catching the ball on the top of the frame. See him switch to that backhand grip. Not the place you want to hit your return.
Vicious return, 30-15.
He has a reasonable swing at that return. He certainly does a lot better. They're able to extend his arms and lash that two-handed backhand cross court.
Sampras, 2 balls clear.
Pete Sampras going for a second consecutive Wimbledon title. Back second game, third set. Sampras leads 2 sets to love. New balls.
Love 15.
Goran Ivanisevic has to be very careful here. The wheels seem to be coming off just a little bit. He must keep his composure. We've seen a little bit too much of the Goran Ivanisevic of old. A little careless at net. Getting frustrated. Awful hot out there.
He's always fast in his serving technique, but he really seems to be hurrying now. Three break points
for Sampras. Sampras sensing the kill here.
Love 40.
Prepares once again nicely. Off balance, off the wrong foot, still a winner. Softest shot he's hit the whole match.
So after all the struggles just to get a break point, Sampras breaks Ivanisevic at love.
Da-da-da-da, first break of the day.
What a game there for Pete Sampras.
And the crowd, after the second set tiebreaker, seemed to be waiting for the inevitable, and one wonders if Ivanisevic isn't a part of that feeling. His cool is being challenged.
Based on his past results, that's what people are concerned about. They've seen him dog it in the past.
And mark down that last point. We finally got a four-stroker, huh? Four-stroke rally.
Certainly hope we don't see Ivanisevic start dogging it now. The finals of Wimbledon. Very, very discouraged looking, however. Sampras is all over him right now mentally. Probably looks about 7 feet tall to Ivanisevic right now. See how he waited so beautifully, that love 40 shot, just pushed that forehand for a winner.
15.
Double fault is 5th. Finally a one point over 4 strokes out of 186. Mark that when you guys back in the tape room. We might want to show that again. And that'll make our top 100 plays of the tournament.
Second set.
We'll have the top 10 for you later. The state of men's tennis. Insights into that.
13-15.
What can be changed? Why is it dropping in popularity? Have all of our memories of this Wimbledon fortnight as well. And the mixed doubles final. Americans T.J. Middleton and Lori McNeil against Todd Woodbridge and Helena Sukova.
14-15.
Looks very, very bleak for Ivanisevic right now. Head starting to droop. Realizes once again this may not be his year.
He had 1 break point in the first set, only 1 break point in the second. Just wide. Sampras holds and leads 3-love. Third set. That man 60 years ago won Wimbledon, and it was the first of 3 consecutive, and the last time a British man has won this treasured title. Fred Perry. Beautiful statue just outside center court. Nice little garden area to commemorate his contribution.
Just celebrated his 85th birthday, and he's in great shape. And that statue is a landmark. You say to somebody, I'll meet you by Fred.
Meanwhile, another bad miss.
Awful.
First point there. Easy forehand volley. Ivanisevic floated long.
15.
Bottom line is you're seeing 2 players playing at the top of the game. Pete Sampras, the better player.
And it just comes down to a handful of points. Who the better man is on those.
He's missing. He hasn't had an ace in a long time, and he feels lonely without his aces.
And he's double faulted by a bunch. That ball was about 8 feet long. 6 double faults.
Problem is here, he doesn't know whether to keep his cool or get angry.
You're almost suggesting maybe you ought to let some steam?
I would suggest it at this point.
Sampras. That was is a Conchita Martinez angle.
See Sampras pumping himself up after this great backhand pass crosser, just catching it inside the line. He knows if he breaks here, the match is over.
There's the
come back, Casey.
number 25.
Goran Ivanisevic knows he's got to get himself back into this set right now.
Not enough of a volley by Goran.
And Pete Sampras, you heard that roar. Leads 4-love. 2 sets up.
Sampras leads 4 games to none.
And they hear Ivanisevic yelling at himself for the first time. He knows he's blown this. Truly be a miracle to come back now. Look at Sampras' reaction when he breaks serve.
Pouncing on every opportunity. Bruff Scott, our old friend who used to be with us on the Breeders' Cup on NBC in his Sunday Times, compared him with that frown half smile as a cat about to strike. He said he doesn't twitch much. He doesn't move much, but just little movement, and he gets that little frown half smile. The cat is about to strike, and Sampras has that pose now.
His heads and tails above the other players. Ivanisevic hoping not to get bageled in this set.
Yeah. Good for breakfast at Wimbledon if you're watching, but not on the court. My Uncle Studley hates for such short breakfast at Wimbledon's because he had a wonderful concoction. Slivovitz and Napa Valley wine for California and Croatia. Puts it in a blender with ice cream. Calls it the California Croaker.
Nice thing about it, anything left over, he just rubs it on warts, right? And it just takes care of those
furniture
as well.
polish, too.
Old Uncle Studley, I'm glad he's still with us.
Very much so.
See how much more fluidly Pete Sampras is moving around the court.
Somebody shouting to Ivanisevic, and did not hear his reply, but it brings applause and laughter from the far end. Kind of gave it a gesture. What am I going to do?
What can I do? He's too good.
He's number 1. In fact, Ivanisevic acted like he was number 1 the way he beat Becker. He says, I thought I was Santa Claus. That's not me. (30-15) at 4-love. 2 games from a championship. Now 5 points.
Another big first serve from Pete Sampras.
How good is this 22-year-old? Now makes his home in the Tampa Bay area. Pete Sampras. This someone that's capable of running off a Borgian-like Wimbledon string.
Oh, definitely. No question about that.
Borg, who won 5 straight. Modern record. He's a game away. 5-love in the third.
Tennis Tips with Tracy Austin. Brought to you by Visa. It's everywhere you want to be.
Let's talk about the transition game, getting from the baseline into the net. I see so many players run willy-nilly into the net, totally out of control, never going to be on balance for that first volley. Instead, after you've hit a good serve or after you've hit a good ground stroke and want to be coming into the net, you want to run in right before your opponent strikes the ball, a split step, a little hop with your legs comfortably apart on your toes so that you're ready to bound to the right or to the left to hit that first volley. So remember the split step for that great first volley.
Play just underway. And Sampras hitting both lines on that pass. Love 15 at love 5 for Ivanisevic.
No breaks the first 2 sets. Now Ivanisevic struggling to win a game.
Love 30.
Unbelievable domination here right now by Pete Sampras. Certainly knew when to pick his spot to really go in for the kill. has been one of Goran Ivanisevic's problems, knowing when to slow himself down, just rushing through this third set. Continues to play at a very, very quick pace.
He's got to make Pete serve it out.
Well, the crowd certainly pulling for him to avoid 6-love third set.
30-all.
But the cat is ready to strike. Inside the line for match point, championship point.
Why did he swing at that?
Well, let's just hope he thought it was going out or he couldn't have reached it.
You can't hope.
Either way, it's match point for Pete Sampras.
Thank you.
He's done it again, Pete Sampras. Back-to-back Wimbledon titles at age 22, and he throws his racket high into the center court crowd. 7-6, 7-6, 2 tough tie breaks, and then 6-love for Sampras. An hour and 55 minutes. Sampras freely distributing souvenirs to the center court audience.
Someone very lucky got that Pete Sampras' racket. I'd like to get a hold of that one.
Going to freshen up before royalty arrives.
Goran Ivanisevic deciding to throw his racket into the crowd, perhaps for another reason.
And we'll have the drama of the trophy presentation plus the interviews when we return. And welcome back to center court, the champion and the challenger. And Goran Ivanisevic for the second time in a Grand Slam final. The runner-up, as he was in 1992 here, to Andre Agassi. Coming much closer then, 5 sets, 6-4 in the 5th. But driven out by the defending champion in the 6-love third set, straight sets for the champion who repeats. The Duke of Kent, the president of the All England Club, presenting the trophy, as he has most of his years since 1969.
Greatest feeling you can imagine as an athlete, what Pete Sampras is about to do here, put that trophy up in the air.
Is this the time when you truly realize the accomplishment?
Absolutely right, Dick.
Umpire Michael Morrissey introduced.
What a moment for Pete Sampras. Goran Ivanisevic has to be bitterly disappointed in how he played in those 2 tiebreakers. 2 tiebreakers and just let that third set slip away, 6-love.
Now, this one will be tough to forget. He said he had nightmares for 2 months after he lost to Agassi, fretting over how it got away, and his effort not quite as noble this time. But the competition today was incredible. Very few chances allowed.
Pete Sampras, a serve volleyer with a lot of power.
Sampras, in fact, committed only 10 unforced errors, 49 winners. Took him an hour and 55 minutes. He's only 22, already his 5th Grand Slam title, He's won 4 of the last 5 Grand Slams. No man in tennis in 25 years has had the Grand Slam run of Pete Sampras. You've got to go back to Rod Laver's Grand Slam to find anyone who won 4 out of 5.
It's funny, a couple of years ago they were asking what was wrong with American tennis. Where were the good American players?
Sampras and Courier, Todd Martin, and Andre Agassi, and on and on. In fact, the U.S. even has a junior in the finals today. Scott Humphreys from Alamo, California, is playing for the junior Wimbledon title.
In the 3rd set as we speak.
Trophy heavy? You remember?
Not a bit.
Not now. Do you go to see if your name's still on there when it's in the trophy case?
No, but I may look at it if Pete brings it into the locker room after the match. Take a quick peek.
He's a handsome guy, and when he smiles at moments like this, it makes you wish that he would give you that look more often. But you know, his coach and he are upset by the fact that people have accused him of not having enough personality, being boring. He said, I'm like the men that I admired most the Australians. What was wrong with them? I'm just trying to be a gentleman, play great tennis, and that should be enough.
His personality was just fine today. Got fired up at the right moments. Queried a couple line calls. Got his point across quite well. Very, very into this match.
His coach, Tim Gullickson, said, I'll put it this way. I hope my sons turn out as well. There's Gullickson on the left.
We heard Todd Martin when they were playing in the semifinals saying Pete Sampras was the nicest guy on the tour. That's pretty good thing to have said by Todd Martin, to be the #1 player in the world and the nicest guy. That doesn't happen too often.
And he said it during the course of action to the umpire as part of his appeal.
They also said a couple of years ago that you weren't going to see the top players dominate anymore. There were just too many around. Well, Pete Sampras is proving them wrong right now. Head and shoulders above any other player.
He won last year's Wimbledon, then the U.S. Open, this year's Australian. Failed in the French, but many feel he's showing that he can play well enough on clay as he did in Rome, that will come. It'll come last, obviously, and now he repeats at Wimbledon. Best in the world, confirming it again today for this coveted title.
Sergi Bugera, the Spaniard, the only other player to win a major out of the last 5. Be interesting to see what happens next year when Sampras has a meeting with Bugera on clay. We know what would happen if they played on grass. Sampras taking his victory march here. More than happy to do so. Knows that NBC's got some time to kill.
And we've got a lot of good tennis and features for you. So if you're fans of this sport, please stand by. We've got all the doubles action to share.
But certainly points out something about men's tennis that hopefully will be improved. How to deal with these tremendous serves, especially on this quick grass court. It's almost impossible to get any sort of consistency if a guy's hitting them serve well.
Final bow to the royal box. Good to see the Princess of Wales here for both finals. They'll make the turn. Bud Collins will try to talk to both. We'll see if Goran Ivanisevic is in the mood as he arrives first. Bud?
Thanks, Dick. Goran, I must congratulate you first. You know, only 2 guys get to the final. You've been there twice, and you beat 3-time champion Boris Becker to get there. Was this a nightmare out there today, though?
I think Pete played a great match. I mean, he was all over me, and he was serving great. I just had a couple of chances, and he had the big serves. And that hurts, you know, when you cannot get a chance. I mean, I was looking for one, but he was serving forehand, backhand, slice, aces, everything. And I didn't serve great today, but he was returning very good, very low to my feet. And I had to play good volley, or otherwise he's going to pass me or make a low. But he played, he was very... I don't know. I didn't know what I could do better. Maybe I could serve a little bit better, but...
What happened to your serve? You went 13 straight serving games with at least 1 ace. in each game, and then in the second set tiebreaker, it vanished. Where did it go?
I don't know. When Pete returned better than usually against me, and then I didn't know what to do. And then I was rushing too much. I didn't know where to serve because everything was coming back, and he was really, I don't know, it was too good. I didn't know what to do. Whatever I did, ball came back, so too good.
Well, you were in the final for Croatia. We congratulate you. Hvala.
You're welcome.
And here's the champion for the second straight year, Pete Sampras.
Oh, boy. Did it, bud.
Well, Pete, was this harder in a way than last year in that tough match against Courier because of the ankle?
The first, I say 8-9 games, you know, I was a bit gingerly. I sprained it. It swelled up after I beat, I don't know, who'd I beat in front? I'm not really thinking straight right now, but...
Ivanisevic was his name, yes.
That's right.
He had 24 big aces before the match broke open.
You know, I really couldn't play any better. You know, I served, you know, really well. I, you know, was really on top of his serve. Once I got that second set tiebreaker, he just, he got down on himself, and I raised my level just an extra notch, and that was really it. But, I mean, the tennis I played really couldn't be any better. I mean, the guy's got the biggest serve in the game, and I was able to return it for the most part and got through.
Your tennis did the job, Pete. You lost serve so seldom in the tournament, 4 times. But did we see the best Pete Sampras out there? Were you pushed to the utmost?
I mean, playing 2 tiebreakers, I was definitely pushed. I mean, it really could have gone either way. I just
the tiebreakers.
Oh, sure. I mean, I could have, you know, I was down break point in the first set. I mean, you know, I just won the important point today, and that was really the difference. And you know, I really can't play any better. You know, today's tennis was pretty much flawless, and I'm really happy I repeated. I mean, this is really special to me. And
this tournament, what does it mean to you? You've talked about it before.
It's the biggest one we have. It's the granddaddy of them all, and the tournament that as a kid I've always watched, the McEnroes and Borgs and the Becker winning at 17. The memories I had as a kid was Wimbledon and the U.S. Open, and to win here last year and to repeat is something that is. You really can't explain. You know, it's just a great feeling. I'm just going to go back home and enjoy it.
When will we see you next?
I'll be back in Europe in a week in Rotterdam playing the Davis Cup.
Exactly, for the United States.
For the United States. I'm looking forward to that.
Well, here's the man. Here's the champion. Look at that face. 2 straight years. The kid from California, now a Floridian. Pete, we congratulate you. A marvelous, marvelous performance. Dick?
Thanks, bud.